Welcome. I'm your host, Jesse Sawyer, nationally recognized inclusive fitness trainer, SilverSneaker Flex instructor. To find out more about me, visit my website at www.jessesawyer.com. And for those Silver Sneaker enthusiasts and those yoga enthusiasts, today I have the Moonflower. Now, if you're looking for greater balance, we have the airplane that I have a few parts out there. I have a balance yoga as well. And then I'm going to add this to the balance segment. It is the Moonflower. You're saying, how is the Moonflower balanced? Well, because you can take this Moonflower and you can move it to the left, to the center, and to the right. And in part one, I'm going to show you in this tutorial the proper mechanics, what I like to call them the proper mechanics, of how to do this Moonflower so that you can work on greater balance so that we can go to part two where we move to the left and then back to center. Now, typically in the Moonflower, you're going to have your feet pointing. Your left foot is going to be pointing on a clock. If you put a clock in front of you towards that 10 or that 11 on the clock, and your right foot is going to point towards the 1 or the 2. It's going to be entirely up to you. And the reason we do that is so that we can move. Typically, most yoga forms and formats are done in that horse stance or that narrow stance. And in this particular Moonflower, I'm going to take that left foot and I'm going to angle it, right? I'm going to take that right foot and I'm going to angle it. So I'm going to be more in that wide base and I'm going to be able to do that hip hike, right? Back and forth, just like that. However, we're not moving back and forth. We're going to be in a nice centered position. I'm going to try to retract my shoulders. I'm going to lift my hands in the air in flexion. I'm going to have those in pronated position like this, neutral or supinated, entirely up to you. I prefer the pronated position. And as I sink or descend, I'm going to retract my shoulders and I'm going to drive those elbows into the rib cage and I'm going to take a seat. Now for some individuals, yoga enthusiasts, nice inhalation and nice exhalation. I recommend placing a chair behind you so that you can get proper depth. And when those quads, those hamstrings and those glutes are fully engaged and you can't activate them anymore, you can just take a seat on that chair and still go through this motion, up and down, ascend and descend. So you got your nice inhalation, nice flexion, and then nice retraction of the shoulders, the rhomboids, the rear delts, the mid traps and the lower traps in this position. Nice inhalation, right? Getting a little protraction and then a little retraction as you pull those arms back and down and into that seated position as those elbows come to here. Now you hold this position and you're going to notice if you have deficit. Deficit in the flexion of the knee, deficit in hip flexion, deficit in ankle flexion as well. Nice inhalation. And if you're having a hard time getting depth, as you see I'm not, then what I recommend is taking a book, a small book, 2 books, and putting them underneath your heels. Because by doing that, it allows you to get greater depth and greater dorsiflexion, especially if you lack it. Nice inhalation here. And then bring them down. Exhale. Roll those feet back in. You can walk them in like this, or you can just move them back in. Peace, my friends. Prepare for part 2 as we move to our left.